Back on Get Up, Tim Legler's in our studio, and the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending NBA champs, made a statement yesterday in Boston, and that man right there, Legs, was doing most of the stating.
Yeah, aggressive from the jump, and it just the length and strength. It's just a different element that Boston's dealing with in this series as opposed to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
He's doing it all. Look at him here. Not only he goes to the hole, now he's finding the open man. That's Bobby Portis.
Yeah, a couple years ago, Giannis could not beat you with his passing. That's not the case now. That right there is an exceptional find.
And then the defense there. So Portis had 15. Giannis had a block on Jason Tatum. He was doing it all. Now watch him here. He's also added this to the game, the nice footwork in the painted area.
The little mid-range shot. He's added a turnaround jumper in the post. He can make free throws more reliably. So the finesse part of the game is there for Giannis as well.
He had 24. Drew Holiday pull-up three. He had 25. At that point, Brad Stevens said, I'm going to beat the traffic and get out of here. And then 6.5 minutes to play. How about this? Look what Giannis is doing in a playoff game. Off the glass. Oh, are you serious? They threw it to himself, Legs.
Jason Tatum, Al Horford couldn't believe what they were seeing underneath the basket.
Jaylen Brown, what the actual heck happened to you guys?
We got to be the harder playing team. And tonight they had a chip on their shoulder. They came in with an edge. They were locked in, and they punched us in the mouth.
Punched him in the mouth. And so let's bring in a man who has punched a few people in the mouth in his day. And that, of course, is Brian Windhorst plus Kendrick Perkins. Winnie, I wanted Big Perk to hear your take on why you think the Celtics were so ill-prepared for this game yesterday.
This was a Nets hangover, in my opinion. I know the Celtics had the scouting report. I know they've played against the Bucks before. But actually going out there after you played one of the smallest and softest defenses for 4 games to play one of the biggest and most fierce defenses. And look, I actually remember when Big Perk's teams in Oklahoma City a decade ago, when teams would come in there and play Westbrook and Durant and Serge and Perk, passes that they could throw the night before when they were in Dallas or New Orleans didn't go through. And when I watched this game in the Garden yesterday, I saw a team that was shell-shocked. That was backed up. Ime Udoka said we were caught off guard by their physicality. Jaylen Brown said they were surprised by the difference. It was a real eye-wakener, and they're going to have to completely change their attack and their preparedness for tomorrow's game too.
What do you think of that, Big Perk?
You know what, Wendy? I'm not going to sit up here and say that you're wrong because I absolutely agree with you. Here's the part that's concerning. How are you caught off guard when you actually facing the best player in the NBA and Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? It's no reason to be caught off guard. You know what to expect out of Giannis. We know what to expect out of Giannis since the past 3 years. Here's the thing about the game last night. Not only did he impose his will and dominate in the paint, and he shot 9 for 25 from the field, but it's the other things that Giannis does around the table. Y'all talked about it, making guys around him better. Right now, Giannis Antetokounmpo is giving me that LeBron James with the Cleveland Cavalier vibes, meaning that any team that's trying to come out of the Eastern Conference, I think Giannis is going to be standing in that way. Here it is. I have the Celtics. I picked the Celtics winning this series in 7. And the reason I said 7 is because I'm actually afraid of this beast, this killer right here, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And that's why I say it might be a slight edge for them in 7 games for the Celtics to win. But if Giannis is going to approach the game the way that he did yesterday, the Celtics are going to be in big trouble, especially without Marcus Smart being 100%.
Let me ask you quickly, though, Big Perk. Did yesterday change your mind? You had the Celtics to win the series before. Having seen one game, do you still believe Boston wins?
Greeny, you know one thing about me. I'm going to go down with the ship if it's going to go down. Leg said this, if Titanic is sinking, I'm going to be on the boat. I'm too big to get a life jacket, and I'm too heavy to try to get in one of those small boats. I'm going down with the ship. So if I pick the Celtics, I'm going to ride with them. Celtics in 7.
How about you, Legs?
I took the Bucks to win this series, and it's primarily because I just thought Giannis Antetokounmpo is a guy that's going to be able to do what he does against any defense, and I didn't know if Boston was going to be able to deal with that. The key for me is the three-point shooting. I said 12 to 15 makes per night. That's what Milwaukee was going to have to give Giannis. They made 12, and they made 10 amongst their 4 main shooters. To me, that is going to be the relief valve for the Milwaukee Bucks. Here's what's scary about what happened yesterday. Think about this. He missed 16 shots from the field.
Right.
He missed 5 free throws. He had 5 turnovers. That might be Giannis's worst game of the entire series.
Yeah.
And they still won the game. That's how dominant he is. And Drew Holiday was sensational, by the way. When Giannis got his 4th foul in an 8-point game, Drew Holiday carried them offensively to maintain that lead until he got back. So I want to give him a little shout out too, because I haven't heard Drew Holiday's name mentioned. He was sensational yesterday as well.
All right, so those 2 series got underway yesterday. We covered them. We will look ahead as we go here with the 2 others that start tonight. Big Perk, great to see you. We will do this plenty as we go down the road.
You too,
Wendy,
please.
thank you so much for getting up early in Boston for us today. Awesome. Meanwhile, let me go back to the draft here. At the game this was. Now, the controversial moment came early in late, I should say, in the first half. That's Draymond Green. He got thrown out. Did you like it?
Did not like it at all. Didn't like it live. Didn't like it even more when I saw the replay eventually. I think it has a lot more to do with Draymond Green's reputation than the actual play.
He got a flagrant 2. You'll hear from him in a moment. We'll get everybody's perspective. In the meantime, the 4th quarter was unreal. Jordan Poole has become such a weapon.
4 games with 25 points already in the postseason on 60% shooting. That's elite level scoring. They're able to overcome Clay struggling.
He made 5 threes. Meanwhile, John Morant was sensational in the paint where he always is. He had 34. How about Steph stepping back?
Yeah, Jaren Jackson was sensational, but that's just too much to ask of a big man on the step-back 3.
And then look at John Morant. Bear in mind, he's going left. So much of this game going with the left-hand layup. I just want you to file that away in the back of your head. Here's more from Ja going left. He would score 34. That one gave the Grizzlies a 2-point lead. Then Clay, who did not have a good night, hit a big shot.
Huge. He struggled, but man, does he have confidence right here. Great up fake. Bane goes by, 1 step to the left. Biggest shot of the night for Golden State.
Now, Ja looking to beat Steph. Oh, how about Steph Curry with the D?
Yeah, great rake. And when I saw it live, I thought he had to have gotten hit, but when you watch the replay, that's all ball. Steph Curry comes up with the deflection. Golden State runs down the loose ball.
The Grizzlies are forced to foul. Took them forever to do it. So then Clay winds up at the free throw line. He's a great foul shooter, but he missed the first, and now he missed the second. Now, the referees cannot decide who this went out off of, even though that's their job. And then so they wind up with a jump ball. Grizzlies get it. They call an immediate timeout, and here's the play they run. It's a great play. Ja with a full head of steam. But Klay Thompson remembered he is going left. And he dives there and makes the defensive play. Draymond says, thanks for picking me up, fellas. The Warriors hold on, and they win game 1 on the road. Now, here's Draymond Green, who recorded a podcast after the game talking about the ejection.
I think tonight was probably a reputation thing more so than a hard foul. By definition, if we go through the definition of a flagrant 2 foul, I'm not sure that play would quite be the definition of a flagrant foul. I'm not sure it would meet that criteria.
That's what he said. I want to make it clear exactly how this broke down. He got thrown out of the game. He waved at all the fans. He hugged all his teammates. He didn't talk to the media. He went back to the hotel and he recorded a podcast. That was the day that Draymond Green had. So again, Wendy, and we welcome Big Perk for the first time this morning and the first time in far too long. Perk, just a direct question. Did Draymond deserve to be thrown out for that play?
Greeny, you know what? As an enforcer in the league, a role that I played, absolutely he deserved to get thrown out. Look, you have to set the law as some type of standard and lay down some type of rules. Listen, the man once slapped him across his face, okay, and then pulled his jersey down, which Brandon Clark was really kind of helpless at that point. And look, the league got to protect all players, because we know if this was the other way around and say Brandon Clark would have did a play like this on Steph Curry, you know, nobody would have been complaining, or if he would have did it on Klay Thompson. Look, we can't look at the name on the back of the jersey. All players have to be protected. And I thought at that moment that was the appropriate call that the referees made last night.
Legs?
Listen, I was a big fan when I was younger of a horror movie called Invasion of the Body Snatchers. What happened to Kendrick Perkins? This is not Kendrick Perkins. This is not Kendrick Perkins. Listen, the smell test, Perk, I know how you would have reacted if you got tossed for that. I hear you. Now, listen, you got a different role, I understand, but listen, here's what I'm saying. Watching it live, and this is where I come down with the part of the officials. Watching it live, I thought to myself, yeah, the jersey grab clearly, man. Oh, they're going to look at the jersey grab. The referees on the court didn't even know he made contact with his face. My point being, it wasn't egregious enough that everybody understood he hit him in the head when he would try to swipe down and grab his arm. That's first. Secondly, define wind-up. He slides over, his arm is already in the air, and he just rakes down toward the ball, and really was trying to hit him on the arm to prevent him from getting his hands above his head. I just don't get where you get a wind-up from that play. That's just a swipe down that happens every time a guy goes to the rim. The jersey grab, to me, is absolutely the worst of the two. And I think ultimately that's what cost him. But even on that, he did try to catch him before he hit the ground. I just don't think in a playoff game it warrants it.
Perk, one more comment. Go.
Yeah, well, Lex, listen, I got thrown out of the game before for actually bumping heads with Tyreek Evans, okay? It wasn't even a headbutt, but they said just because we tapped heads and I came and made contact, I was suspended